Hello and welcome back to Shelf Center. This is Bryce and I am here with some more top shelf news where we cover science fiction and fantasy news in publishing, media, whatever strikes my fancy really, but mostly around those things. So jumping right into it, really the elephant in the room, this Doors of Stone news. Oh my gosh, it's shaking up everything. I read The Name of the Wind. That's the first book in the Kingkiller Chronicles by Patrick Rothfuss ages ago. He's proceeded to delay, to say the least, the publishing of the subsequent novels in the trilogy, despite having written the whole thing in the beginning, but he's had to do lots of revisions and whatnot. And anyway, so there's lots of definite good excuses, I'll say, but it's still... the excuses start to run dry, I guess, for me after a while. And now that it's been another 10 years since the last book, and it was already quite a number of years from book 1 to book 2. Anyway, we got more news, let's say. But anyway, I did some digging, right? So here's the news that everybody's kind of been talking about. It's Mercedes Lackey. She's a very popular author. I own a number of her books. She's one of those authors I own a number, and yet somehow I haven't read her books, but I hear they're really good. The Valdemar series is the big one. And she shares a publisher with Patrick Rothfuss. And again, Patrick Rothfuss is like... this just into the stratosphere, right, level of author, but they do share a publisher with Daw, who actually was picked up by Astra Publishing, I think, recently. But anyway, and they share not only the publisher but an editor in Betsy Wollheim. So just recently, Mercedes Lackey posted. She posts on Quora, which is a popular. Another social media site, but I think it's mostly for writers, authors, and whatnot. But she posts, "Hey, the book's at the publisher," and it's a little bit vague, and I'll pop it up here. But but I did some digging. I read this. I want to say I read The Name of the Wind at least about 10 years ago, if not longer. Yeah, that's probably more like 12 or 13. Anyway, I read this quite a number of years ago, and so ever since then you kind of keep checking every now and then you get to a point of giving up, which definitely I got to. So, but over those years of checking, there's always someone trying to get some clickbait, and they'll be like, Doors of Stone release date. And so even recently, we just had this big kind of, I just posted about the Kingkiller Chronicle kerfuffle in a previous news video, and you know he promised in this bid to try to get more donations to charity to release chapter 1 of the Doors of Stone, and that still has not happened. And so in looking again, you just search Doors of Stone or anything Kingkiller related, and there's like just all over the place, release date, and so you can't trust anything. So sadly, I did some more research into this, and I could still be wrong, because this is still like secondhand. I don't have any primary sources really, but I understand that Mercedes Lackey was pressed a little bit more. This is coming from winterscoming.net, and they're usually pretty reliable for news. But she was not, in fact, referring to the Doors of Stone, but instead the Slow Regard of Silent Things. I'm not sure why she would be referring to that, because that was published a number of years ago. The Slow Regard of Silent Things is just kind of an offshoot novella that was published a number of years ago, and it doesn't make a lot of sense then why are we talking about it? Anyway, it would be weird anyway for Mercedes Lackey to be even talking about this announcement in more than just like her kind of close friends or something. So to kind of make this publicly, so some of this does ring true. It's just, where is the truth on it? I'll be honest, I wouldn't be holding my breath, and I'll when there's a publication date from the author, then I'll get excited again and read it. But until then, I just would caution. This sounds like it's again one of those that now Mercedes is either pulled back because she's realized her mistake and even talking about it, or that I guess maybe she actually was referring to the slow regard of silent things, which again just doesn't make any sense, because that wouldn't be at the editor unless it's getting re-edited for another second printing, third printing, 28th printing, maybe. It's a possibility. I'm not going to rule it out. I've been reading too much philosophy lately, so to not rule things out, or to be able to rule everything out. But anyway, just a lot of funky things going on. It seems like there's some pullback and some changing of stories, but I'll try to keep you updated. If you care about it, let me know in the comments, unless you've just given up like I have mostly. It's just then these things come out and I feel like I have to be like, whoa, hold your horses, everyone. I don't think this is actually really, news, but it became news because it's now news. Anyway, it's circular, okay? All right, another book news. P.L. Stewart, I just finished The Drowned Kingdom. I really enjoyed it, and I would highly recommend it. Book 3 looks like it's coming out 2023. He's made an announcement on his Twitter page, so I'm excited for that. Book 2, I believe, came out this year, The Last of the Atlanteans. Othrin, the kind of main character and told from his perspective of A Drowned Kingdom, is just a really interesting, nuanced character, and I'm excited to read more. So that's exciting news. We're getting a third book. And unlike some authors that I may have recently mentioned, it looks like it's actually getting published. So, all right, big news for the channel. I get to do my first cover reveal. This is really exciting for me. I read the first book in the Chaos Reigns series, Oath Broken, and we already have the cover for the next book, Blood Games, and so I'm really excited. Here it is. Ta-da! All right, so this is, as I mentioned before, I actually just got the first book. There was a redo of the cover. It looks really good. I like the old cover, but I really think this tells you a little bit more about the series. I think this is really good. If you'll notice, I am a little biased here now, but I wasn't before I read it, I promise. But my quote is on the back of the book, and so that's pretty exciting for me. But anyway, book 2 is coming out here. We've got, anyway, the cover looks great. I'm just really excited to jump into it. Jared Smith's doing a great job here. And I believe his wife, too, has been working on the covers and everything with him. And so, anyway, very exciting news. So excited that I could do that. Thank you so much, Jared, for letting me be a part of just getting this out there. All right, quick notes about a couple things. I found some good book deals, so if you'll check in the description below, we got some good book deals. Child Thief is really cheap. Legend of Eli Mon Press, The Justice of Kings, all at really good prices, anywhere from $1.99 to $2.99 for the Kindle deals in the US. Sometimes they match in other countries, so definitely go check it out if you are not from the US. That's just what I have access to. And then also, if you want to check out, today is the last day to be able to get Shadows of Self for free. If you're a member of the Tor kind of newsletter, they'll send out free books like pretty much monthly. Shadows of Self by Brandon Sanderson is the monthly pick, and I would definitely get on that. I believe that is today is the last day, the 26th of August. Jumping into gaming, and speaking of Brandon Sanderson, he's got a new game that he's involved with. It's called Moonbreaker. He likes those breaker kind of names, right? Warbreaker, Moonbreaker now. But it looks like a science fiction kind of RPG style game, turn-based description in a sci-fi world. So whatever that means, it's from Brandon Sanderson. It might be a cool game. Anyway, that's exciting news. So if you're into those kinds of things, let me know if that's interesting to you. It was very interesting to me. All right, finally, just wanted to kind of mention a couple things. House of the Dragon, it just had a huge premiere, 10 million. It was just under that, but 10 million's fair enough. I looked it up. Game of Thrones premiere was 4 million. Obviously, that was the first that nobody really knew a ton about except for the fans of the book series, and so obviously they were showing up. But the height of Game of Thrones was about 17 million. So I mean, if you look, that's some excitement. I was surprised, to be honest, because of how lackluster everyone was about Game of Thrones based on that last season. Everyone was kind of giving up. So maybe it was just good timing. Enough time passed, and the excitement got to build up, and really it looks like, and as I mentioned in a previous video, I didn't love the source material for House of the Dragons, but I am excited for the actual show itself. I need to find time to actually watch it, but because of the fact that it is going to, I don't think we're going to run out of source material this time, and I think that was a big problem with the last series, and then George R. R. Martin seems to be a little more involved, which also is disappointing as a fan of the series, because it definitely means Winds of Winter is getting delayed that much longer, but whatever. I mean, it's already what it is. Anyway, then Lord of the Rings of Power just had a trailer drop. This is one of those, I'll be honest, I loved the original trilogy. I just think The Hobbit really kind of just killed a lot of my interest. So I know this is premiering like really soon here. What is that, next week? And I really don't care that much right now. And I know they're spending a ton of money on it. I've been covering it, but it's more just because it's like, it's there. It's definitely news to cover, but I just am not excited about it. I don't know what the deal is, and I still am hopeful, and I'm definitely going to watch it. And anyway, one thing I do have is Amazon Prime. I do not have HBO Max, and so that's the problem with what I can watch or can't watch. So anyway, what is new for you? What are you looking at? Remember to check out those deals. I have more than just the ones I mentioned down there in the description. Let me know. They are all affiliate links. I like to kind of track if anybody's even interested in that, but obviously I do make like a tiny percentage off of any sales, so that does go back into the channel. To be honest, that's what I want to get an actual like branding going, a good logo or something going. I would at one point. So anyway, that'll go back into that, and let me know what you're interested in. Please don't forget to like and subscribe, and we will catch you next time. Thank you. Bye.